Death Stranding 2 is finally here, but before you continue Sam's journey, there are numerous settings you need to change to ensure you're getting the best possible experience. Thanks to PlayStation for gifting the game early and making this video possible. Anyway, setting number 1 is under the Graphics Settings tab, and it's to set graphics mode to prioritize performance. Honestly, I can barely tell the difference visually between the two modes, so if it was such a tiny visual trade-off, getting double the frame rate makes the game feel so much more immersive. I'd argue this is even more impressive anyway, as you're now getting 60 FPS whilst maintaining those near photorealistic graphics. Moving on over to the Camera Settings tab, settings 2 and 3 are to increase your normal vertical and horizontal speed values. As we've doubled the frame rate we're playing at, the default of 50 does make camera movement feel a little slow, so I strongly recommend increasing these values for a more fluid feel. Have a play around, see what you like best, but personally I found 70 to be the sweet spot. Going further down this menu brings us to the fourth setting, which is to change the aiming response curve type to linear. Once you've done that, you'll also want to increase the camera acceleration to 3 and the deceleration to 8. These changes will substantially improve your aim, as now the camera's movement speed when you're aimed down sights is going to change at a constant predictable rate regardless of the exact angle at which you push the stick. This should make hitting enemy weak spots feel easier and more natural than the default options allow. Thanks to our changes to the acceleration values, you are still able to make swift pivots between different enemies too. For even finer aim, you'll want to change settings 5 and 6, which are under the Controls tab and are the left and right stick dead zone options. These do default to a low value already, which is great to see, but I still recommend you try changing both to 0 for even better responsiveness. Just make sure to test this in game to ensure you aren't getting any stick drift. If you are, you will unfortunately have to keep increasing the values until it stops, or just try using a different controller. Anyway, heading to the bottom of this menu, you'll find the 7th setting, which is to lower the minimum button hold duration to 3 or 4. This is a small quality of life change that will make terminal interaction or placing ladders and ropes etc. feel even snappier without accidental taps causing any issues. Now, setting number 8 is back at the top of this menu and is to consider changing the controls for soothing loo. Personally, I really like using the motion sensor, so I'm keeping this one as is. However, I do know for many of you this action can get repetitive or maybe even feel gimmicky, so if that is the case, you might prefer using the left stick instead. Moving on, setting number 9 is actually in the console settings and will ensure you're getting the best visuals possible if you're using HDR. Most people set this up completely wrong, so watch the video on screen now to make sure your settings are right before you start playing. Also, please consider liking and subscribing if you found any of these settings useful. I'd really appreciate it.